Good day, Year 8. Lovely to have your class back. Today we're focusing on perimeter. Our learning intention is to learn how to find a perimeter of shapes. And our success criteria would be our ability to apply the FSSU framework to solve perimeter problems. When I talk about FSSU, I mean formula, substitution, simplify, and units. FSSU, formula, substitution, simplify, and units. We'll be applying this framework to solve perimeter problems. Now, from year 7, we already know the basic measurement facts, and we also know units of measurements. So let's get going. Now, the perimeter of a shape is simply the distance around the shape. Is the distance around the shape. So starting with that framework FSSU, we write perimeter equals, in this case, let's call that side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4, and side 5. So our perimeter is simply side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4 plus side 5. So that's the formula part. Then we do the substitution. So that's our F. We do the substitution. And in this case, as we can see, we have S1 is 3.2, S2 is 1.7, S3 is 1.4, S4 is 2.8, and S5 is 1.1. When you add all that together, you get 10.2. Now, the 10.2 is when you have simplified. This you could use a calculator or just do it mentally. And then units. That's the kilometers there because everything is measured in kilometers. Everything is measured in kilometers. So that's our perimeter. So to recap, you look at your shape, and perimeter is just the distance around the shape. Because every measurement there is in kilometers, we have a consistent unit. So we now write our formula, we substitute, we simplify, and then we attach the unit. Let's move on to the next. Right. We've been given that shape, and as you can see, we have only markings on this side and that side. However, we do know that because there is a single marking here, it means this side here is identical to that. So that side, so let's call that side 1, and we call that side 2. This will be our side 3, and that's our side 4. Now, side 1 and 4 are the same, so that would be 16 millimeters as well. And side 3 is the same as side 2. Why? Because it's a double mark and a double mark, and so that's 12 millimeters. Now, since the units are consistent, we will start with applying FSSU framework. So perimeter equals, now you can see that side 1 and 4 are the same. So 2 times of side 1 plus 2 times of side 2. All right. And so that leaves us to that. So 2 times 16 and then plus 2 times 12. 2 times 12 is 24, 2 times 16 is 32, and 24 plus 32 is 56. That's your simplification part. So this is your formula, that's your substitution, that's your simplification, and that gives you the answer of 56, and the unit is attached. So FSSU. We need to be consistent, we need to stick with it. Sometimes we may have to put D in front, that's diagram. The diagram's already given, but where we are giving some words and we have to do the diagram, we may have to start with a diagram first. Just amend that framework and put a D there as well. We'll see as we go along. Now, we have a rectangle here. So the longest side, that's our length, and the shorter side, that's our width. So again, as you see, we do know that the length equals 17. Sometimes it's important to write down what is given to you as well too. In some complicated problems, we need to write that down. And W is equal to 5. That's 17 centimeters and 5 centimeters. Right. So that's our formula. And we do the substitution here. And then we simplify by performing all that calculation, which gives us the 44. That's our simplified form, and that's the units. So in all measurement problems, we will be following this strategy. You write the formula and you substitute, you simplify. That's where your calculator comes in, and then units. But as I said, many times for complicated problems, we need to also write down what is given so that when you go to do the substitution, it's much easier for you to do that. All right, let's move on. We have that shape. Each side is the same because of the marking on it. And so here given is very simple. S is equal to 2.5 centimeters. So we start with the formula, which is 5 times S. We do the substitution. That's in place of S, we put the 2.5 because S equals 2.5. And then we simplify, and that's the unit. Easy done. And of course, 5 times 2.5, you can do it mentally or you can just use a calculator because calculators are allowed. But 5 times 2.5, you can look at it as 2.5 times 4 would have given you 10 plus the 2.5, that's 12.5. So it's very easy. Right. Let's have a look at this problem here. Now, you will understand that, again, in doing this, you may want to first check and see that you know all your things that you need to find out first. Remember, perimeter is going to be equal to the sum of all sides. So let's put that as our formula, the sum of all the sides. Now, what do we know about the sides? That's 27 meters And as we can see, they are all in meters, so we don't have to worry about unit conversions here. That's 27. So all this length here, up to there, there, and there, all of that is 27. You may say, well, wait a minute, I don't know this. Well, I don't need to use the 19 and the 5. It's irrelevant because all that plus all this plus all that will be 27. Now, on this side here, that's 9. So let's add that. Now, we need to add this, which is 3. And we need to add that, which is 1. Now, what about this side here? Well, up to there is 9. And then it dips 3 here, and then it goes up there 1. So this side is going to be 9 minus 3 plus 1, and that is equal to 7. So we have to add 7. So remember, that's our formula. That's our substitution. We need to simplify. (27) plus 27 will give us 54. 9 plus 1 will give us 10. 3 plus 7 will also give us 10, so plus 20. So P is simply equal to 74, and the units is meters because we are measuring in meters. So that is it. The U comes. So 74 meters. Any questions? See, to do this part here, you had to look at this whole thing there. That's 9, but it goes down 3. So that's why we did 9 minus 3. That gives you 6, but then it goes up here 1. So that's the one at level. So 7 meters. Okay. Now I want you to pause here, write the question down in your math books, and please do this in your math book based on all these ideas that we have done. See here, you have to draw a diagram. So please make sure you draw a diagram as well. And once you finish with the work, please make sure you do your online homework. The online homework also has got a lesson which you can do as well in case you need additional help. Right. That's another question for you. You can pause and write the question down, and again, do it in your math book. Show all the required working out. And again, if you have any questions, post them on Google Classroom, and I would answer them for you. That's another question for you as well. Again, you can pause, copy the question in your math book, and answer it. Again, if you have any difficulties, let's discuss on Google Classroom. And that's another question for you. Please pause and write the question out and solve, showing or working out in your math book as well. Final question. Pause, write this question down, solve it first, but I'm going to discuss this one. So I'm sure you've paused and you've written the question down. All right. So let's have a quick discussion of this. Now, as we can see, we have a farmer that needs to fence the property needs to fence new property. The fence needs to go along the boundary of the property and also needs to divide it into rectangles as shown. So in this case, it's not just around the property, but also needs to go along all those rectangular boundaries. So the first question A is, what is the total length required? Well, the total length required, remember, our perimeter P equals the sum of all sides. The sum of all sides, that's our F. That's the formula. So let's do the substitution. Let's do the substitution. Now, as you can see, we have this side here, that's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Now, because these two blocks are 1,000, this block here is 500, and that block there is 500. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 plus this is 900, 900, and 900 up to that point. So that gives us 2,700. Now, because this is 600 and that's 900, it means that one here is 300. So plus 300. You need to simplify that, and that gives us 8,000, because 5,000 plus 3,000, that gives us 8,000. So that's our simplification, and the unit, as we can see, is meters. So that's our simplify and units. This was our substitution. So FSSU. Right. Now, question B. If the type of fence used by the farmer costs $5.75 per meter, what is the cost to fence the property? Well, the cost is equal to the unit cost per meter, the unit cost per meter multiplied by how many meters to be fenced, in this case the perimeter. So that's the formula. Our substitution will be $5.75 multiplied by 8,000. That's our substitution, and that should be equal to, we need a calculator to help us to do this. So grab your calculator and do 5.75 times that. And if you did that, you'll end up with 46,000. 46,000. 46,000. Now, the 46,000 is your simplified, because we grab a calculator to do that, and the dollar sign, that's our unit, because we have the dollar sign there. So that was A, and that's B. That's A, and that's B. And for question C, if the fencing contractor can build the fence at a rate of 20 meters per hour, how much time will it take? Well, again, to calculate how much time it takes, the time t will be equal to the amount of fencing to be done divided by 20, because it can do 20 meters per hour. So we need to do the substitution, which is 8,000 divided by 20. And we need to simplify that, and that gives us 400. And the units, hours. So in all this, you can see that we have the formula, we have the substitution, we have the simplified, and we have the units. So we've stayed true to our success criteria, applying the framework FSSU to our perimeter problems. If you have any further questions, kindly post on Google Classroom and we'll discuss that. So to summarize, our learning intention today was to learn how to find perimeter of shapes. Our success criteria was to apply the framework, FSSU framework, to solve perimeter problems. F for formula. Always we need to state the formula we are using. S for substitution. Another S for simplifying. Simplifying is where we actually sometimes need our calculator. We need our calculator to help us if calculators are to be used. And then units is the final thing with all measurement stuff. So you see, calculator only comes into the calculation at the third step. So you need to set out what you are going to do. Sometimes, in addition to all this, you also have to write down what is given to you or what is known. You sometimes need to list those things given to you or which is known to you in the question, because that's what helps you to do the substitution. Right. So make sure that you complete all those problems which were in this lesson, which I ask you to pause the video to write down, do the diagrams where necessary, and for additional work, let's go to mymathsonline.com.au and do that work. And please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Tabi Maths. There are videos there which can assist you with your work. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye.